But remember when you experienced those challenges, you just quit, bro. You just gave up. But that was what I intended to strengthen me.
Welcome to 45 on the Hour podcast. I'm your host, Colt 45, and I'm not here with the Dark Knight. He is missing in action today.
UA Burnham.
He's UA. And it sucks because this is a freaking awesome podcast. We got his platoon sergeant here, and he's calling for order. Where are you, bro? Roll call. He's going to be listening out there in Dreamland. First, I want to introduce my guest, my boy, a guy I have so much respect for. We used to have a podcast together, which we'll get into, and just super, super smart guy. Super influential. He's got a good following. A lot of people trust him. It's my boy, Roland Vandenberg. What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
What's up, big dog?
Great to be here.
Good,
I know
man.
we've been trying to get on here for a minute, bro.
Dude, I know, bro. I know. I mean, you got just such a cool story, bro, because you're a former Marine, bro. You've been overseas. You've been in action, dude. We had a podcast together, which was called Veterans Battalion. As we know, it was me, you, JP, and Adam. And that was kind of how we started. And then, everyone kind of went their own ways, did their own things and whatever. But we always kind of stayed connected. And then, I don't know, man. Let's just start off with like the beginning, because I want everyone to know who you are, bro, because you do a bunch of stuff. You do real estate. You do life insurance now, right?
Yeah, it's really life insurance, retirement planning, basically anything and everything that falls into that financial realm.
Got it.
Like ultimately
Yeah, I want to get more into that because I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
So like the reason why I brought Roland on here is because this is a self-development podcast, okay? And a lot of people that come on this podcast are former veterans and, people just trying to figure it out in life, and some people have a lot of stuff going on in their head. And I think as a podcast, it's my job to make sure that I bring people that, structure some sort of value. And I think it's important for people to understand why it's so important to have, a life insurance policy and like why it's important to be, financially stable, and coming from a background of the Marine Corps, like I did, I think it's important to hear it from somebody like you because they got to hear it, man. They got to understand why. So before we do all that, bro, I want to get into your background, bro. Like you're a warrior like me, bro. But what made you join the Marine Corps, bro? I ask any Marine or military guy this because I always want to know, like I was homeless, bro. Like I had to figure it out, bro. I had nowhere to go, bro. And dude, I just jumped in kind of like head first, and I got kind of adopted in the Marine Corps. I remember sleeping in my recruiter's office, bro, because my mom kicked me out of her house.
Oh man, yeah. I know your story too well, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a great question. I ask myself that every day. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it weren't for the United States Marine Corps.
But why though?
And,
why?
Yeah, so I still remember as a little kid, my dad, he was working for the movie studios at the time. And this was after my parents freaking struggled. My parents struggled to the point where me and my brother almost got taken away because both of them had to work jobs. I still remember that like it was yesterday. I remember me and my brother sleeping on the couch and being woken up at 2 a.m. by some sheriff's deputies at the door. And me and my brother, I think we were in like 4th grade. And my parents, they did what they had to do. It was either they had to roll up their sleeves, hustle, or, we would have ended up homeless. And so kind of seeing that, learning that as a young age, and I'll get to this here in a minute, because that I think kind of led to joining as well. But a little bit later, my dad ended up landing a job by the grace of God with the movie studios. And, things started changing for the better at that point.
Okay.
And he was working on a TV show called Arliss. And it was a little while back, but it was about this sports agent. And he ended up coming home from work with a picture of this Marine. And it said, Marines at the top, and it was this decked out freaking recon dude, high speed, all freaking geared
With
up,
the gun like this
with a gun
and the
like
war
this.
paint.
Yep,
Yeah,
war
I know what
paint. You
picture
probably
I know.
remember.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I remember that picture.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he brought that picture home. What happened to the camera? It looks like I'm looking at the desk or something. Um, but yeah, I remember
We can see you.
to this very day, he brought back that picture, that poster of that recon Marine. And I was like, dude, that looks cool as shit. Uh, Sixth grader going into junior high, I'm like, damn, that looks freaking badass. That's what I want to do.
Nice.
And so that's when it got planted in my head. And then later on, as I got older and a little bit more mature, it just came to wanting to be a part of something bigger than myself. Like I really respected what America stood for, the freedoms, and like just how great we are to, like how blessed we are to have the opportunity that we have. And I was like, damn, I want to do what I can, to provide that. And then so when the Marine Corps recruiter first sat down with me, and you probably remember this too, those like benefit tags that they lay out, and you pick the things that are important to you. And one was pride of belonging, belonging and being responsible for protecting our way of life. And then number two was financial security, because I saw my parents struggle. I saw the fear on their faces. I saw you know, the pain of trying to do their absolute best for me and my brother, and the stress that came along with that. And they ended up getting divorced. Finances probably, you know, had a part to do with it.
Yeah, they say a lot of
And
not to interrupt you or anything, but they say what for divorce, what are the top three things? It's what finances is up there,
yeah, finances is one of them, man.
right?
And finances and just, there's a lot of things that come into play, but a good majority of divorces and separations, they stem over finances and the stress that comes along with that. And so yeah, that was one of the reasons that kind of led to me joining the Marine Corps, because dude, they really take care of everything. And while you're on active duty, there's really not a care in the world aside from doing the shit that your sergeant tells you to do. You do that and everything's like figured out. Don't get me wrong, there's challenges. I don't got to tell you that.
Yeah.
But didn't you feel like shit was easy in the Marine Corps?
It was, bro.
Like,
And I like how you mentioned that like going in the military gave you like a sense of belonging, but it also gave you like a sense of purpose, and it gave you a sense of security, which I think is important, when you're a young person, especially like coming from poverty, and I came from poverty, single mother, just trying to figure it out. My mom was never on welfare, but she should have been. Honestly, she would have been a candidate, but she never wanted a handout, So she just barely made it on her own, which I commend her for tremendously, because she could have spent a lot more time with us if she had gone on welfare or something like that, but she never wanted to be a part of the system. She had she was like prideful, she never wanted to she was like, her pride was worth more, and I admire that a lot about her. And obviously it's instilled in me. But yeah, I like how you mentioned that, man. I mean, the Marine Corps was something that like, I think I went in, I didn't have a place to go. And I needed somewhere to go because I was homeless. I needed structure. I needed a place to go. I keep going back to that. And and then I knew my uncle went in, and it did good for him. He worked for Northrop Grumman. He made good money. And I just wanted to make a living. I wanted to make a living, do what was fun. I just didn't know what I wanted to do, bro. And I just remember going back on that. But like with the Marine Corps, what made you realize, I don't know, maybe that's a weird question because you didn't realize that till you got in, but what made you realize like you were built different? Like you were meant for the Corps. You're like, nah, this is me. Like, did you feel like that like before you went in? Like I was meant to be a Marine, or were you just like, you were just looking for a place to give you the security?
No, that's a great question. Great question. I actually never even thought about it till you asked me it right now. But if going back, I think it was realizing how much I enjoyed the adrenaline. And looking back at it now, I was like, it was perfect for me. Like when drill instructors were freaking knife handing us in our face, like don't get me wrong, um, that was challenging and stuff, but I actually kind of enjoyed it. Like I was that recruit. If we go back to boot camp, I was that recruit that always lose my bearing. I would always laugh and smile at freaking everything because I kind of enjoyed it. It's and I was that damn recruit that would get freaking hazed and slayed on the hour, every hour by the drill instructors just
Vandenberg,
because I
get down and
couldn't
push and
keep
give
them.
me 20.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, what's so damn funny, Vandenberg?
Oh, good to
You want to
go.
explain to us what's? Yeah,
Good to go. Good to
yeah.
go. Get in the
I
hole.
just to this day, bro. Like to this day, I'm that guy. I'm 42 years old, and I still honk at people, wave, and like my kids like know me as the dad who's just a grown up kid. Like I joke around, I mess around with people, and
Yeah, I've always known you
it's
to be like
yeah,
the
yeah,
nicest guy ever, bro. You're like always like
yeah,
so happy
yeah,
and so nice, and
mhm,
yeah, man, let me help you out. You're a lot like similar to me in a lot of ways, and I
yeah,
always admired that about you. But like here,
yeah,
getting to like what you have, and this is important because the Marine Corps gives us all something, right? We all leave with something from the Marine Corps, and that's the cool thing about it. And I say a majority of people leave with good values and whatnot, and habits and stuff like that. But what values and habits drove the decisions that you make today, right? And like, how did that turn you into where you're at today? So obviously you're a realtor, and obviously you do life insurance, right? Like, what made you get into all that stuff, bro? Because I'm curious myself. Like, how did you like?
yeah.
Why'd you? Here you go. Oh, I'm just gonna start selling houses, or like I'm just gonna start selling life insurance. Like, I'm not gonna say it, but life insurance sounds like an old person kind of job. I don't know why. I just think like that. Not the dog
Yeah,
on it, but I'm like, maybe he knows something that I don't know, bro. Maybe it's like one of those things that like there's like hidden money because Roland is not a dumb guy. He is a smart man. So I gotta know, bro. Like, and I always thought, like, dang, real estate, man, that's going to be tough, bro. You got to build up for like 10 years, to build up some like real reoccurring business, but I know you can make money in that, but life insurance, I never thought you could make any money in that. I don't know why. I always thought like someone behind a desk, punching a clock, answering the phone, selling a policy or something. But obviously
yeah, yeah.
you know something I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a man, that's a great question, bro. And I'm gonna lead through this chronologically, like I'm gonna tell the story.
There we
So
go. Okay.
because it played its course and there's a purpose and reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today. And so when I first transitioned out of the Marine Corps, it came abruptly. Like I it came after 15 years of service. I was medically retired. I had an emergency back surgery.
I remember that you had
And
back problems.
yeah, I was like, man, I was jacked up.
What year
And
was that?
I that was 2016 when I retired. And I didn't like entrepreneurship wasn't something that I just wanted to do out of the jump, out of the gate. So I remember when I bought my very first home, and I used this program through a company where I'm not going to say their name because they're a great company. I just think the program was messed up, but they were partnering me up with a real estate agent that was supposed to specialize in helping veterans. That just wasn't the case. They didn't know shit about the VA, and I ended up spending a lot more money than I should have. They didn't really give me any specialized guidance for the VA or being an active duty military member. And I was like, man, this process is broken looking back in it now, but I didn't know any better. It was my first time buying a home. And then I ran into Adam, which I served with in the Marine Corps. He was in the mortgage industry, and I linked back up with him after 10 years, and he was working in mortgage. He had a very similar experience. And I was like, damn, dude, you know what would be awesome is if we can learn that system, the VA, just learn it inside and out, master it. do it better, do it as best as we possibly can, and just create a company where that's what we do. We just do VA and help veterans better than anyone else out there. And that's where the vision started. And because we realized the need for military and veterans for that specialized service.
And what was the name of the company?
Romeo Echo.
That's cool, man.
Romeo Echo. So
RE
military
real estate.
Yeah.
and Romeo Echo
kinetic.
for anyone that doesn't know, Romeo Echo is a military acronym. So like everything's like, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie for ABC. So R is Romeo and E is for Echo.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Estate, Romeo Echo.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
and
that
what
was
rank
the
were you?
birth
Just to
of
keep
that.
up with the story, what rank were you when you got out? You're a staff, right?
I was a staff sergeant. Yeah, staff sergeant, E6.
How many years did you do? In the Marine Corps?
15.
15.
Yeah, 15.
You didn't stay the full 20, man.
No, see, that's where it got caught like 5 years short, but I still got a prorated, retirement. So it, like, at the time, it wasn't, that was like a really dark point in my life. And it's not something that I wanted. The Marine Corps was my life. Like, my identity was a Marine. And that was, looking back now, it was a blessing in disguise, because I wouldn't be what I'm doing today. I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And, God has a plan that at times we don't understand, but, it's much better than the plan that we had.
Amen, bro. Yeah. Amen.
So, it's, so that was the start.
Okay.
Romeo Echo was created, and then I just came to realize, like, veterans needed way more help than just navigating around their VA loan. And that's where all the other things came in. And it came back to, like, really figuring out where veterans need the most help. And a lot of it was transitioning out of service, getting their VA benefits, their VA disability benefits. At the time, like, veteran suicide was at an all-time high. It's still in an upward trajectory. And that's where, how we got brought in with Veterans Battalion and Operation Jump 22, preventing veteran suicide. And that was just a passion project, because we wanted to do everything that we can to give back to our fellow brothers and sisters. And that eventually just led into financial services. And so when I say life insurance, man, it's far more than just life insurance. It's financial services as a whole. Like, life insurance, of course, it protects families and legacy against loss of income, but we do retirement planning, financial management, wealth management, retirement, like everything that you possibly can know, or that should know, shit that should have been taught us in school. It's not. So it's really helping families. And because that's one of the things that I realized, too many of my fellow Marines were getting out of service with in and out, like, in a crazy amount of debt, their credit jacked up, 1, 2, 3 divorces, and their finances just in shambles. No money invested. They didn't even have the slightest clue on how to invest, how to make their money work for them as hard as they work for their money. And I was like, dude, we need to teach our brothers and sisters this. And then I just realized it's not just veterans, it's society in general, because they don't teach us this in school. Shit, I got a bachelor's and a master's. I got a master's in business from USC, and I didn't even learn that stuff in the master's program. Like, I was taught to look up. I could tell you if Apple Incorporated was going to have a good quarter. I can look at their balance sheet and all the accounting piece. But growing wealth, like the rules of the money game, like, no, it's not taught. It's not taught. Like, and I thought that was an injustice. So it was my mission to teach that, to equip families and people on how to get ahead. And all these secrets that the rich and uber wealthy know, that should be taught to all, American families.
Amen, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm kind of curious, man. Like, what do you think was harder, bro? Boot camp or building a business from the ground up?
Oh, bro.
What do you think?
Oh
That's
man.
a good question, right? I mean, I was
Yeah.
writing some questions down, and I was thinking about a few, and this is one that actually came up because I remember boot camp, and I just remember being like just a deer in headlights, like what the hell am I doing, bro? And then I feel the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
way. I felt the same way when I started business. I was like, wait a minute. I thought you just made money and then it was okay. It's like, no, there's like 1,000 other directions. And it's like sometimes you can't even get paid, right? So then it's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, I did a service. I should be able to get paid. Wait a minute, I got to fight for my money now. It's like,
Yeah.
and you put out money, and then it's like, so I don't know, man. There's just so many different variations with that. But what do you think about business, man? And
Yeah,
obviously boot
bro.
camp and like the difference and like what was harder for you? Yeah, and I know it's a different age range, right? But theoretically, like,
Yeah,
what do you think was harder?
bro. Entrepreneurship, the hardest thing ever. Like, it's literally the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life. Like, entrepreneurship is harder than getting shot at in Afghanistan. And here's the reason why. Okay. As a Marine, we are trained for everything that were to come our way. We know that through all the training that we've done, through all the actions that need to be taken if we were to get shot at. So we know, hey, look, like we're taking rounds. Okay, what's the objective? Adapt, overcome, locate, close with, and destroy the enemy. And we know we've done it hundreds of times, thousands of times. And so it's all trained upon in us. We're not trained for entrepreneurship. We're not trained to overcome failure, except that's why I think Marines have a little bit of edge in entrepreneurship because they've gone through hell and they've experienced failure and they can adapt and overcome. So that's why I think the best individuals that are built for business are United States Marines because of what they've been through. And but going back
Amen,
to
bro. I'm
entrepreneurship,
glad you said that. That was
yeah,
cool. That was cool.
yeah, entrepreneurship, we're not taught that. Like
Bro,
we
no.
get yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think honestly in the Marine Corps, man, and I don't know what it is. So we're taught leadership, right? And this is not to interrupt you or anything, but I think that we're taught
Mhm.
leadership, right? But then we're also taught to follow as well, right? Because in boot camp, I always remember they'd say, hey, the best follower turns into the best leader, right? Because you got to be able to follow before you can lead. You really have to. Like, how are you going to learn how to be a leader if you haven't seen one before? Like, you can't just be put into a leadership role and then be like, okay, go ahead and lead everybody. It's like, well, what do I do to be able to lead? Like how do I get these people to follow me? Well, how are you supposed to build a business if you've never built one before, right? So it's almost like, you got to take the approach of learning from somebody else, right? So getting a coach, a mentor, someone that knows what they're doing, right? Let's say you, right? Someone wants to learn how to be financially stable. They would hit up Roland. They'd be like, hey, Roland, I don't know what I'm doing with my finances, bro. I got money here, I got debt here. What do you think I should do, brother? Yeah, man, we need to do this, boom, 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 right? You put them in line, you pay whatever, you coach them through it, boom. They get the cheat sheet, right? The easier route, right?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
And I think that we need to acknowledge that as people. Like we need to hire somebody, to teach us how to do certain things. I mean, we hired the Marine Corps to teach us how to be a man, right? Technically, right? I tell people that all the time. People be like, nah, man, I don't need to hire anybody, because I do fitness coaching as well. And I just started doing business consulting as well, too. So people have been hitting me up asking me like, hey, man, can you go over some things? So I'm like, yeah, here's what I charge and stuff. And some people are like, man, I didn't know I had to pay for that. And be like, man, it's my time, brother. It's a lot of time. And you're going to have more than one question, right? But here's the thing, like, how long would it take you to learn on your own? Theoretically, with all the mistakes you make, how much money would you spend to do that? A lot of people don't understand that. They'd probably spend anywhere from like 3 to 5, maybe even 10 years, plus mistakes, plus cost. Like, here you go. Just give me a little bit of money, buy some of my time, and I'll teach you everything you need to know right away. And not to mention, I'll give you the right information because I've been through everything, right?
yeah,
I don't know. I think everyone thinks differently in that game, but I know for a fact that it's something that you gotta learn from a proven mentor with and for.
yeah, yeah. You're 100% right.
I don't know if I went off
Like
track on that, but
leadership. It's not something that we were born with. It's an acquired skill, and it
100%,
comes
bro.
through being a great follower because
Correct.
you need that example to emulate, you remember on the Marine Corps promotion warrant where those specific words, like leadership is being that example for others to emulate.
Oh, dang.
And
That's hard right there. Yeah,
be,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, before you get there, you got to learn. You got to learn from your leaders. We all remember our great leaders and mentors in the Marine Corps.
Right.
And yeah,
Give me,
that's one of the,
give me
yeah.
a great leader for you that you're someone that just hits hard right here.
Man, I had two amazing ones. Corporal Padilla. I mean, that eventually became a sergeant, and Corporal Ventura. Like Corporal Ventura was my very first experience. I still remember oh man, this is a funny story. I'll make it quick. But when I first joined the Marine Corps, I joined in the reserves, and my very first reserve unit drill, they got activated for 9/11. So I didn't even experience much time in the reserves. I went straight to active duty, and then I re-enlisted active after that. But my very first drill weekend, I got a call from my sergeant, Sergeant Gage, or my platoon sergeant, and he was giving me the details on the drill. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it. And he's all, yeah. Like, I was like, oh shit, did I not learn anything in boot camp? Like, I'm gonna address a sergeant by yeah. So
It beat your
yeah,
ass.
I already fucked up. I get to him, and he looked at my boots, and my boots weren't like spit shined like perfectly. Like this was before the deserts. And he's all right, you don't want to shine your boots? Okay, let me go get Corporal Ventura. And then he brought Corporal Ventura over in front of the platoon, and he's all, hey, look at this Marine's boots. And he's all, get down and push. So he made the corporal push in front of the entire company because my boots weren't shined.
Oh man, and you had to watch him, and he's your superior. Ah,
yeah,
man,
yeah,
sucks,
yeah.
dude. You
So
know you're
that
gonna get
was
your ass
my
kicked after
first,
that.
my first leader.
Dude,
Man,
the dude that rings a bell for me was this guy named, he was my boot camp instructor, bro. He was a big black guy, bro. His name was Sergeant Williams, man. I'll never forget him. He was literally flawless, man. And he smoked cigarettes too, which was even crazier. I catch him outside, like, you know, like we walking out. And he always had this thing. He always had this look, be like, what the fuck you looking at? I'd be like, what? I didn't look at anything. You know? And he was just so crazy, bro. He'd go on a run with us with a pack, go blazing through the run, up and down, back and forth, as we're all dying in like 90-degree heat going up Mount Motherfucker in Camp Pendleton. And then by the time we'd get back, he'd already be changed into his Charlies. And I'm like, whoa, bro, I just got back and I'm in my freaking PT gear dying here. And he's like in his Charlies, like clean, like flawless. And he smells good. And I'm like, what the heck? How did you do that so fast? I remember asking him out of turn. I was like, Sergeant Williams, how the hell did you get in your Charlies so fast? He's like, what the fuck does it matter? He's like, I'm a fucking Marine. I'm a sergeant in the Marine Corps. You know, I'm like, he was so like crazy brainwashed. Like he was just invincible, dude. He's like, what, you don't think I could do a run and they get showered in 5 seconds? He's like, that's what we do. That's what we do. But turns around, I mean, they had a plan for it. So he actually cut out a little earlier on the run, got back, showered, got dressed. But we didn't see all that, you know, in boot camp. There's stuff that you don't see, right? Because you weren't a drill instructor, were you, or anything like that?
No, I didn't do drill instructor duty.
Yeah, but they were just crazy, recruiter. Man. They'd make you do. I don't know. He was one dude that literally like changed me. He punched me in the stomach one time, and I flat out knocked out. He just knocked the wind out of me. I left my footlocker unlocked, you know, just like Private Pile in Full Metal Jacket, you know, or whatever.
Oh man,
yeah, it was unlocked. Yeah, and then he came up to me, he was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, I was like, did I do something? And he walked over and he got in my face and he asked me, he's like, did you lock your foot locker? He's like, don't look down. And I was like, I don't want to lie. Yes. Boom. Just like he hit me.
Got him.
But it was one of those guys that like he intimidated me so bad, but at the same time, he was so flawless, you know, and I respected him so much. I just didn't want to fuck up around him, you know, and I don't know if that's like a leadership quality, but I think it has something to do with like respecting somebody, you know, and it was the consistency that I realized that like really led me into a leadership role. It was like when someone was consistent and they were always about their word and they were always on time and they were always locked on and they were always confident. Those are the motherfuckers that I was like, okay, I admire that person. And then I want to emulate that person because that person makes me feel better just admiring them, just to admire them, but let alone to be them. Holy shit, man. If I could be that motherfucker, I'd be unstoppable, right? And so
dude,
you know,
let me take a minute to kind of dive deep into what you just said right there, because I feel like that is the true recipe for success.
Straight up.
In business. So
I like that. I like
you said consistency, discipline,
Mm-hmm.
consistency, and leadership.
There you
like
go.
those things, like to be successful, there's no magical pill. You just need to take action and have consistency, because that is you're gonna figure out. Too many people like will jump in a business and they just quit before they are on the verge of a breakthrough that would most likely change their life forever. If they just remain consistent and do the daily actions with consistency, man, that's it, bro. Like,
straight up. And you ain't got to be smart, bro. There's probably dudes sitting out there be like, oh, Roland, he's rich. He's rolling, dude. He's been doing this. He just got gifted. He's smarter than me. It's like, hell no. Dude, I am like, I to get to where I'm at, I would say, like, I didn't have any idea of anything that I've ever done. I had no idea. I started a moving business without being a mover. I started a service master without owning a service master before, or even working for a service master before. I started a fitness business without ever having a coach. I started freaking this podcast room and this podcast without ever doing a podcast. I literally had no fucking idea what I was doing. But the reason why I'm here and I've done everything is because the Marine Corps always said, they always gave us that what's that acronym where they always say, like, figure it the fuck out, you know? And I just remember that being a thing. They'd always be like, figure it the fuck out. And then I remember just like almost crying to this drill instructor one time. I was like, sorry, I just have no idea, sir. Like, how? He's like, bro, he's like, you got to get shit from A to B. If it's 1,000,000 pounds, start with 1 pound. Move it one at a time. Okay, you know? And that's what I did. I remember having to move all this water from one side of this to the next with 4 dudes. I was like, fuck, we got to get this shit done. And we just started one by one. And then, you know, he came up to us later and he was like, hey, you know, there's a truck over there you could have used. You know? And I was like, oh, you know, and I got frustrated. But at the same time, like, I got the shit done. I got it done. It took 8 times longer than it should have, but I figured out a way. And so, like, those little wins, those are wins. I call those wins, you know? Just like, okay, well, we got to do it. So let's just break shit down basically. And I think that's what me and you have figured out, you know, in our lives. Is just start off with the basic shit. You know, you want to do whatever it is you want to. Yeah, whatever you want to do, go ask the pro. Because, dude, the people have it so gifted these days, bro. They got Instagram, they got Facebook. Someone could go text Roland and be like, hey, Roland, I want to do what you're doing, brother. You know, like, how do I learn? And you'd probably be like, hell yeah, man, let me brag about what I do and teach you, you know, because I'm stoked. I'm excited for you. Because when someone's wants to be invested in what you're doing, you get excited to teach them. So technically, you could get legacy. Bro. It's like reteaching is a part of our legacy. That's why they say, like, even in jiu-jitsu, a black belt is a teacher. They call a black belt not a black belt. They say, hey, professor. A professor is a teacher. Like, you literally 100%. Start over again at black belt. That's what they say. So, you know, once you get to that mastery level, you know, which you and I have of our businesses and whatnot, you know, the last thing you want to do is just hold that information in, because then you don't get to teach it. And then it's like, well, then what are you doing? Like, money only does so much for you. You know what I mean? So I like that, bro. I like that. That's pretty cool how we touched on that. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's one of the things that the Marine Corps did very well is, you know, that, like, being a part of something bigger than ourselves. It takes individualism out of it. You're there for your fellow brothers and sisters.
Correct. Yeah.
And you're responsible for their success. And that's where in business, like, to truly scale, like, you're going to reach the levels of success that you want to reach if you help your junior subordinates reach their levels of success.
Yep.
And that
I like that.
It's developing, it's duplicating yourself. It's transferring your skills into them. And it's like, same thing in jiu-jitsu. Like, as that professor, it's when you can transfer your skills to your students, that's when you truly made it, because then you've already been successful, but seeing others become successful and achieving that level of success, that's special, because that's true legacy. It's not just the monetary things, it's how you are remembered when you're no longer here on this earth.
I like
That
that,
should have
bro.
last
Dang, that's a
forever.
banger right there.
Yeah.
That's a banger right there. That's what leadership is, bro, and that's what reteaching is.
Mhm.
Like once you reach that mastery
Yeah.
level, I think it's everyone's duty to reteach. That's why a lot of people that are like super successful end up being professors of their teaching at like a university or something.
Mhm.
They want to go back and they want to
Yeah.
reteach. Because at the end of the day, when you become so smart at something, like, and you've already reached like your peak, the last thing you want to do is just hold that information, and it's better just to reteach the world about your practice or whatever it is that you do,
Yeah.
and make it a better practice, right? So that all humans benefit better from that practice, because not everyone has mastered it the way that you have, right? Let's say you mastered life insurance, you mastered real estate. Like, what would it do to hold all that in and not reteach it, right? Well, obviously you reteach it, because I know for a fact Romeo Echo has multiple locations in multiple states, right?
Mhm.
You guys are like nationwide almost or something, right? So so that's cool. That's different. And most people wouldn't be doing it that way, but you guys just don't stop growing. You're just like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And you're reteaching, and you're planting little seeds all over the place. And there's all these other people that are huge. I think there's a couple people with bigger followings and you and Adam combined that are like below you in Romeo Echo. And they're just blowing up. And that's cool, man. And they're taking pride in they're taking pride in it because you guys have established core values and things like that. Like the Marine Corps had.
And that's where I think that is really the competitive advantage, is those core values and doing the right thing. Because that's in our financial services business, in real estate, it's both the same. It's doing the right thing, and it's fixing issues and problems in the industry. There's a lot of similarities in the real estate industry and the financial services industry, because they're such high revenue generating industries. Sometimes it attracts people for the wrong reasons, and that's one of the things that we couldn't stand. And we're like, you know what, we need to do something about it. So it's doing business the right way. It's teaching people. It's teaching others to treat people like people and not like paychecks. And that's the problem with life insurance, financial services. It's no different, because they're such high revenue generating industries. A lot of times people are treated like transactions, and too many professionals like focus on their paycheck rather than focus on serving. And that's where the core values come in. It's always doing the right thing. A lot of the stuff that we do, we'll do financial strategy and build out plans for people where we don't even charge them, because we find that when you lead from service and you teach people God and the law of reciprocity, it'll work in our favor. When there comes a time for business to be done, the law of reciprocity, they're going to want to give that business to us. That's how we built Romeo Echo. That's how we built the real estate company, and the financial services is no different. So it's teaching, breaking things down Barney style, as we used to say in the Marine Corps, taking these like complex financial strategies and breaking them down so simple even a Marine can understand it.
Jesus.
So
I'm definitely not the financial expert, so I would definitely take you up on that, But we've been working together. We've been talking and stuff, and I've actually learned a little bit from you. I know that. I know that. I like how you touched on all those things, man. Those things hit home for me, and people, not paychecks. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge, man. That's huge, and that's kind of how I do it here, And I've always been. I'm kind of the person that like I'll give until I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Right. And I'm not an idiot, like I'm the nicest guy, man. I have a thing that I live by, I always say, treat me good, I'll treat you better. Treat me bad, I'll treat you worse, And I believe that's just the human analogy. Like, that's what you have to be, I think, in life. You have to be able to understand people and give everybody a chance. Everyone gets one chance with me, they do, to show me who they are, And if you burn me or you skip out on a meeting or, then that's like, okay, cool. Well, that person's, that's just who they are. They're not about their word. They haven't grown yet. They don't understand the value of relationships. So yeah, that's fine. I'll just put them in that category of people that I can't take seriously, and then, but I still love them. I still care about their well-being, but I just can't take them seriously yet. But here's the people I'm going to focus on, right? this is the group of individuals that's actually helping me, right? Because this world works as a group, okay? It works off of energy and attraction. So if my energy is high, your energy is high, we're going to be the best people suited to help each other, right? Because we motivate each other. I can help you, you can help me, I can give you business, you could give me business. We all work together, right? Because this thing is not individual based. If you focus on your life as an individual and you're just like, okay, I'm going to keep everything to myself, I don't need anybody, that's just, it's not the way to do it. It's going to take you forever to learn anything. It's going to take you forever to level up. Life's better in groups. That's what I always tell my people. I have groups every Tuesday at 7:30, that I jump on with my team. And we talk about the same stuff. It's weird because I do this fitness stuff and the goal is to talk about fitness, but we end up talking about personal stuff. It's always about life, struggles. Everyone's going through a struggle every day, in their head, and a lot of it's just fabricated. A lot of it's just fabricated. People just think they can't do things, but in reality, they can. They just have to reach out for help. And so that's what we're here today to talk about is reach out to the right people for help. Learn from people. You guys got Instagram out there. That is that's literally your freaking resume. Like, be who you are, as fully authentic as possible. That's what I tell my people. Be as fully authentic as you can be. Be who you are. Don't be afraid to sugarcoat it. If people don't like you, if you say a bad word here and there, I trust people that curse over something that just don't ever curse because I feel like, they're coming out with emotion. It might not be the right presentation, but they're giving it their all. They're emotional about it. And if people are emotional about something that they do in a positive light and they're excited about it, I'm going to want to jump into what they're doing and I'm going to want to hire them because I'm like, this dude cares about what he does and he's going to give me the best value because for him, it's emotional. It's in his heart. It's not just about turning a check. He's not trying to be improper here. That's why, people that, aren't like born political, are getting hired for office and stuff because, Americans tend to believe someone that's a little politically incorrect, and not getting into politics or whatever. But the whole point is I believe that's just how the world works. I believe that people trust people that don't really fit the mold of, your average business guy or business person, just someone that works real hard. And I always tell people, hey, I might not be the best businessman, but I'll try real fucking hard, to give you the best value, best service. I'll try real hard. And if I make a mistake, I'll be the first to roger up and say, hey, I made a mistake. Let me pay for it. Let me come clean on that.
Absolutely. That's the accountability.
Yeah, and I have people that come back to me over and over again. I've had people I've made multiple mistakes with on different occasions, on different things, different situations, and they just keep coming back, and they say, you know what, I trust you the most, man. I don't even want to work with anybody else, and that's cool, man. And that says a lot about who you are. I want to talk about mindset and stuff, and then we'll get into the end of it. What do civilians not understand about pressure and responsibility? I think that's important to talk about. Like kind of like with what you do and what we do. Like, what do they not understand about pressure and responsibility? What do you think right now? Like before they get into like business or even in the military, we deal with a lot of pressure and responsibility, right? In business and in the military. And I don't know if a lot of people understand that, but I think it's something important to talk about,
Yeah, 100%. I think pressure and responsibility is something that I think I truly first experienced it in the Marine Corps. And that's when you really learn how to navigate around pressure and responsibility and realizing that everything we're in control of a lot more things than we give ourselves credit for.
Yep.
And that's it's taken ownership and accountability of, and I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but responsibility is, I think in what I take responsibility for is man, I got a lot of things that I want to say and I'm trying to like say it.
Narrow it down.
Yeah, it's really taking ownership of the successes and failures. That's really what I want to say is what I see the issue where there's a lack of a responsiveness to pressure and a lack of responsibility is blaming our failures on everything else rather than taking ownership of what are the things that we could have done better? And so responsibility is like really everything. And it's in business, it's in our personal relationships, it could be in marriages, it can be in a failed business. And yeah, there's a lot of circumstances that led to something not succeeding. And taking full responsibility is taking the accountability on, okay, could we have done something better? Yeah, there's a lot of outside circumstances that were out of our control, but okay, how did we respond? What was our perspective? There's always things that we could have done better, and taking responsibility of that is where we can grow as a leader, and recognizing that having pressure put on us is a privilege, because if there wasn't any pressure, then was it really that important? Being put in the position where we have a family that's relying on us, would you say that puts a lot of pressure on you,
Oh
right,
yeah, it
Colt?
stresses me out sometimes.
Yeah,
Just
it
knowing that,
stresses
dang,
you
I
out.
can't let these people down. I can't let my kids
Yeah,
down. I can't let my inner family, like my
your
outside family, my
employees.
employees.
Yeah,
Like I got to
a lot of
provide, man.
people.
Because they all look up to you, man, and they rely on you. They
Yeah,
rely on you for
yeah,
that leadership,
yeah.
So I believe that God
That's a
grants
lot
us a
of
certain amount of
stress.
pressure. And I believe it's like, cool, hell yeah, you gave me
Hmm.
that pressure. I'm going to do great with this, man. I got this.
Yeah,
I got that. No, it's no problem. I can handle it. Oh, you want
yeah,
to give me more? Cool. Pile that shit on me. I got it, no matter what.
yeah,
Even when you're run
yeah.
down, and you just feel like shit, you got to get out there. You got to keep doing the same shit, Like the last 3 days, I've been like super lethargic, man. It's a lot of pressure on the way
Hmm.
I feel, and I felt like
Hmm.
really run down. I don't know why, maybe change of weather or whatever, but I get out there and I still do my burpees. I still do my
Yeah.
workouts. For me, it's a non-negotiable, because I've told
Hmm.
people that I'm going to do it. And as long as I do it, then I
Yeah,
give myself a sense of purpose, right? Because
yeah.
I'm upholding a standard that I've set for myself. And if I tell people I'm going to do it, I have to fucking do it. I have to be the leader because people's lives rely on it. Believe it or not, people's lives rely on what I do on my daily actions, And so do you. There's people that look up to you that literally go,
Hmm.
dang, if Roland can do it, I can do it, man. He's doing so well, bro. I'm going to try to chase him. I want to get him. I want to be at his level, and that could be your kids. That could be your employees, like whoever works for you. Like there's so many people that look up to you, Even your wife, I see her
Yeah.
supporting you and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Just like, yeah, this is my man,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And all that stuff motivates me, man. That allows us to get up every day. And when we have that support of our family, our friends, our people, and they need us, dude, I feel way more of a sense of purpose, bro. Like I got to
Hmm.
get up earlier. I can't. Oh, you want to feel like shit? I go back into the Marine Corps, man. I talk to myself in like the third person, bro. I was feeling like shit
Yeah.
this morning, man. I was getting up early to go to the gym, and I was like, fuck, I am hurting. I was just sore. My shoulder was hurting, my back. It's like older stuff, oh, my neck, my back, I'm sore. I need more protein. But I was like, oh, good to go. You want to complain? Get down and give me 20 then.
Hmm.
That's cool. Good to
Yeah.
go. Good to go. Yeah, we'll make it even harder for you today. You're not doing 30 minutes on the freaking Stairmaster. You're doing 45, bro. And then we're going to do 100 burpees in a row because you want to give me an excuse, that you may have almost quit. You may have almost said no today, right? And I kind of talk shit to myself in the third person for that. I go, okay, cool. That's how you want to feel. And it's weird, but if you start talking to yourself in like the third person, you automatically give yourself a little bit more pressure and almost like you humble yourself. It's weird. So you got to kind of play those games in your head. And they always say that we're going to become who we think. We're going to become what we think about, right? So if you think about pressure all the time and how great it is and how you might not overcome it, you're going to fail. But if you think about pressure as like, hell yeah, bro, I can handle that
Yeah.
shit. You're granting me more pressure because you know that I can handle it. And as in God knows that you can handle it, then he's going to give it to you. He's calling you. You've been tested. You've been selected, right? So I
Yeah.
admire those
That's
things.
it right there.
I turn it around in
That's
my head.
that's the answer. Like it's taking that pressure when, for the average individual, that would stress you the hell out.
Fuck yeah.
To the point where, like, I don't know, you probably have a panic attack. But if you shift that perspective and say, hey, you know what? My family is counting on me. My employees are counting on me. All the people that are counting on me. Yeah, that third person, I think that's the hack of the actual actionable steps. Talk to yourself in third person like your drill instructor.
It fucking works, bro, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
It fucking
yeah,
works, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, dude, I got a question for you. We've got 2 more questions. I'm going to wrap you up here. How do you stay mission ready as a father, business owner, and as a man, bro? I know you got it all going on right now. Like me, man. You're all over the place. You got so many things going on. How do you say
And
mission ready, bro?
I don't like, I don't think we can do it ourselves. And here's the thing, like, and we're in the social media era where you literally just see the highlight reels of people's lives. And that's the one of the worst things that we can do is compare our chapter 1 to someone's chapter 12. And if I'm vulnerable with you guys, like, I've thought about quitting multiple times. I've thought about quitting everything in my life, my marriage, my business, like everything that I've had success in. I've thought about quitting multiple times. Shit, I've thought about quitting this week. It's regular,
Me too,
and
bro.
it's one of those things where you just gotta push through it, like, and recognize that failing is a part of life. And just because you fail, it doesn't mean you're a failure. You only become a failure when you quit. And that's one of the things that you can't do it yourself. Like, and I don't mean to keep pushing religion on people. That's not what I'm trying to do. And that's what I believe in. And I ask for God's help to make it through. I can do anything in life through Christ who strengthens me. And that's who I lean on to get through all of the hardest times. And it helps. It really helps. And yeah, I'm far from perfect, bro. Like,
Me too,
far
bro.
from perfect.
And I commend you in
Yeah,
that, bro. I'm gonna be real with you,
yeah,
man. And like this is where shit turns up. This is where the heat comes up, bro. It's always like in the 45-minute
yeah,
part of the podcast, right? Is we
yeah,
all take off our masks, right? And we're like, hey, this is who you really are. Dang, man, that's who I really am too. Holy shit, man, you almost quit last week. I almost quit last week. What the fuck? No way. Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah,
life is life, bro. We all get to a point, we get to a level, we snap, we quit, we want to quit, we walk away. But all I got to say is this: remember why you fucking started. When you feel like quitting, remember why you fucking started. Go back to that reason. Why did you start? And I go back to living in a fucking trailer with my mom, barely affording to pay rent, couldn't even turn on the fucking air conditioner, like no heat in my house. I started because I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to be so poor that I couldn't take my kids on a vacation. I didn't want to be so fat like my entire family because they were all overweight because they couldn't afford regular food. They had to eat fucking top ramen and McDonald's all the time, bro. I don't want to be that way. So every time I quit, I think about, oh, cool. You want to be fat then. You want to be overweight. You want to be financially impaired. You want to show your kids that it's okay to live poor. You want to show your kids that it's okay to be fat and die at 42. No, it's not okay, because that's not what I choose. And if I'm going to change the legacy of my kids because I love them so much, right? That's what I tell all parents. You love your kids so much, well, then show them the life that you never had. Show them the person that you could have been. And I don't ever want to get to heaven and God go, hey, check it out. This is the dude right here. This is the homie that you could have been. 10.0 motherfucking Colt. You settled it 7.0 or 5.0. I just want you to know this is who you could have been in the journey. And I gave you that option, but you chose other. And I still love you, but this is 10.0 Colt. Better life, better family, better vision, healthier, more satisfied. Now the future of your journey could have been better also. And the journey's already laid out for us. God already knows what we're supposed to do. He only gives us what we can handle. But I know now, like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. So whenever I feel like
yeah,
fucking quitting, which is every fucking day, I go back to who I fucking didn't want to be. I didn't want to be that. And that is what keeps me going, bro. Because I'm a human, and so are you. And life's a mirror, not a window. We wake up in different moods, different emotions, different pains. The only thing that drives us forward is our fucking discipline, bro. To do the same shit every fucking day and never fucking quit till the wheels fall off, bro. And I used to always say that. I used to always say that, man. Till the wheels fall off. You know what I mean? Like ride that into the wind, bro.
yeah.
In closing, bro.
Damn, that's it.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking
That's
power
real,
right there,
bro.
bro. And the legacy piece, bro. And I always ask like especially like Marines and like military people and stuff. I was talking to a Navy SEAL a few weeks ago. If you died tomorrow, dude, what do you want your kids and your clients to remember about you? What do you want them to know about like Roland? Like if they were to be like, dang, dude, Roland, bro, yeah, that was my boy. Like, what do you want them to remember you as? Like, what do you think they'll remember you as?
Man, that's I think that's really what I work through every single day. And I think that's the true purpose of our life. And that could be different for everybody. But for me, I want to be remembered by the legacy that I leave and how the impact that I make in other people's lives. To be like, damn, man, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't freaking meet that dude.
Mm.
Like, I didn't like, and that's, man, that's a deep question, bro. And I think it's ultimately like, it's the role that we play in the lives of the people we come in contact with every day.
What they learn from you, right?
Our kids, our friends, our family member. It's being the best father we can be, being the best husband, the best wife, the best sister. And you know, on that day, when that day comes and your story is told, it's like, damn, like that dude was the best freaking friend I've ever had. That dude, he's the best father.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. Man, I'm getting emotional, man.
Sorry,
Yeah.
brother. And you are, bro. You are, man. You're a testimony to us all, bro. I look up to you myself, dude. But this is why we have this shit, bro. We learn so much from this shit, bro. Just talking out loud, bro. And we really find out who we really are and really what we're meant to be. I know for a fact, if someone asked me that question, I've said this before on a podcast, but I always said,
Mhm.
and what you said was super touching, by the way, bro. I'm really trying to hold back my tears right now.
Yeah.
Because I love you, dog. I love you.
Yeah.
I just know that I never want to be looked at as a fucking quitter, bro. And I say that because I feel like I've been quit on my whole fucking life by everybody. Everyone's quit on me. And for me, that matters. Because I never wanted to be the one to quit on anyone else. When I adopt like a business or friends or I start a new program or whatever I do, the thing that I can't do is I can't quit. I can't quit. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather die. I'd rather lose everything. I'd rather lose it all than to quit on somebody. Because for me, quitting is not an option. Because I've quit on so many things that I thought I should have not quit on. And I've learned it so many times that doing that to myself makes me feel worse. Because everyone else has done that to me. My dad quit on me. He left when I was 5 to go be a chick. Because he was confused. And I know that now. Then my mom got older and she quit on us, because she was too mentally, distraught from all that shit. And then I've had friends and I've had other business relationships. And I always thought I was helping people, and I was bettering people. And I just never understood why people quit. I never got it. I was like, but I'm helping this person. But why? But you know what? It's not. I realized it wasn't up for me to decide why, right? That's them. I just got to make sure that I never quit on me. I never quit on me. I always do what I tell myself I'm going to do. And I'm never going to let anyone distraught that. I'm never going to let an emotion, finances, people, anything ever change that. Like if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm never going to quit. I'm never going to give up on you. And I never give up on anyone. I might disagree with you. I might not like you for a minute or something or whatever, but I'm never going to quit on you. I've had falling outs with people that have called me 10 years later and they're like, hey man, I really messed up and I've been sleeping on this, and we ran into each other and I said, hey man, don't even worry about it. Let's start over. And I like that about the Marine Corps because me and you don't talk all the time, bro. We talk on Instagram every now and then. We were tight for a few years and then it was like, Marine Corps got ahead of us. You moved to Texas and
Yeah.
But no matter what, if you called me, I'd be there for you. If you said, hey, bro, I'm dropping into Cali, bro. I'm fucking fucked here. I got to get a ride. Can you help me out? I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude. I'll come pick you up. No problem. No questions. Like, that's what we do as Marines. You know, you call me 10 years later, pick up the phone. You're having a hard time. I drop what I'm doing. Hey, I got to take this call. You're automatically prioritized, you know? And that's a gift that I think that you can't get anywhere else but the Marine Corps. But maybe like just being in the service, you know? I know the Marines have like a different bond in that, but yeah, man. Sorry, man. I was trying to catch my breath here.
Yeah.
That was badass, man. But
it, bro.
Yeah, dude. Amen, bro. Fucking proud of you, man. Proud of you.
Amen.
As a friend, as a brother, you know? Getting into the next one, man. Last question. So what's next for you, bro? The mountain, dude. What mountain are you climbing now, man? You know, you got this life insurance thing going. Bro, Romeo Echo's gigantic now. I mean, I see you guys all over the place. I follow pretty much all your dudes, you know. Some funny ones. You got some funny guys out there, dude. You know, I was trying to.
Well, there's there's a lot of I guess a lot of projects that I'm working on.
Okay.
You know, you'll just have to watch and see.
I know. Yeah. Don't tell me, please, man. It's like a movie.
Yeah. What's next for me? It's kind of exactly what you just described. So like for me, I just try to get better each and every day. And for me, it's like my ultimate goal in life is when my life is over, is when I meet my maker. And like I don't even want to paraphrase what you just said, because I believe in that same very thing. I remember the first time I heard it, it was actually Ed Milet.
Yep.
Is the one who said it. It's like, damn, like this is what you could have been. But remember when you experienced those challenges, you just quit, bro. You just gave up. But that was what I intended to strengthen you. That was what I put in your life so you can get better, so you can be a better leader, so you can be a better father, so you can be a better friend. And so that's my goal, is to what's next for me is just to continue to roll up my sleeves and crush each day as it comes and try to get just 1% better each and every day.
And you were close with Ed, right?
Yeah, that Ed is, he has played an immensely important role in my life. You know, he's responsible for not quitting when I wanted to quit multiple times, you know, in business, in marriage. You know, he's a great human being. He's a great dude.
You know, that dude saved my life, right?
No kidding.
Like, really saved my life. Like I had, I was struggling with anxiety when I was around 37. Man, I was having panic attacks, and I was in the darkest space. The VA gave me medication. I was having negative thoughts. I was having suicidal thoughts, and I was spiraling. And I got to the point where I was having panic attacks every few minutes, 24 hours a day. I couldn't breathe. I was so scared. I couldn't even have anyone come over to my house. I was freaking out in my room, thinking, is it there? Is it there? Oh, there it is. Boom, 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 boom. Heart's crazy. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sleep. I was taking medication. I was driving myself, and I was still trying to operate a business and all this stuff. And I lost my fucking mind. And I was trying to figure out how I could end my life. I was like thinking about, there's got to be an easy way to do this. I can't live like this for the rest of my life. And then there was a fucking video, bro, that I saw on Facebook. And this fucking video said, this guy ate my lit, man. And it was the thoughts video. I was talking about 92% of your thoughts are the same as it was the day before and the day before that. And then 8% you're able to change. So it's all about what you think about. And no one ever fucking taught me that shit, bro. My thoughts were running rampant. I was thinking about whatever it was going on. I was at a feeling in I wasn't thinking about, no, you're okay. You're fine. Look at you. You're in a perfect world. You know, giving back. You're humble. You're happy. You're a provider. You're a good dad. But everyone was attacking me the whole time. You know, I have 3 daughters, you know, and anyways, that speech to this day, what he said in that YouTube clip, I watched it, I swear to God, 100 times in a row right there. It just clicked with me. It's like something just fucking clicked. It just clicked, bro. And then I fucking woke up. It just stopped. The panic attack, they didn't stop right away, but I started utilizing the methods that he was telling me. And I was thinking about my thoughts. And then I got more into Ed Milet. And I was listening to all his podcasts. I would put my headphones on and I would listen to it 24 hours a day, over and 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 over again, until my brain could only hear that. I wasn't even, people were walking by me, talking to me, and I was just waving at them. I didn't even take off my headphones because I was absorbing all this information. And it was slowly transforming the way that I thought. And as I was controlling my thoughts, my thinking process changed, which meant the chemicals in my body started changing, which Joe Dispenza actually talks about. And it's a real thing. And a lot of motherfuckers don't understand how important it is to think about what you think about. And that man literally, with his words, changed my life. If it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would be here, bro. I swear to God, I was in the worst place. And people just say whatever. I'm telling you, it was moments from ending my life. Moments. Maybe that night. I don't know. Living like that with anxiety for that long was crippling. I've never felt so much pain, and I've never been so scared of myself ever. But I thank God for that man, bro. And I wrote him a long message. Maybe one day he'll check his inbox. I'm waiting for the heart on it. He can just heart it real quick. I wrote him a long poem, which I know he'll never read, but God forbid, God bless Ed Milet. And if you're out there, bro, and you see that message, it'd be cool to get a little heart on it, bro, just so that I know you read it. It's a powerful message. I put a lot of effort into it. I spent about a few hours writing it, just the way that it was. And I sent it to his inbox, and I even put on there, I know you'll probably never get this, but I just want you to know how much of a part you played in my life and how you saved my life. If it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be here. So, God bless Ed Milet. You're the man.
Love that.
Yes, sir. It was a great podcast, brother. And just wrapping it up, dude. I want you to give a punch out on who you are, where people can find you, bro. Especially with the life stuff that you do. The life insurance and everything, and real estate. If someone has some questions for you, where would they reach out to you, on Instagram or something? Or
yeah, I think I'm on a few different platforms, but Instagram is definitely the one I'm the most regular on. And I got a couple of projects that I'm working on where we're going to branch out, and we got some cool things going on some other platforms. But Instagram will always be the best place to get a hold of me. Shoot me a DM. I do the best that I can to reply to all the DMs, and I'm not that crazy. I don't got this crazy freaking following where I'm too good to respond. But yeah, Roland V03 is the IG handle, Roland Vandenberg. That's probably the best. Yeah, that's probably the best, brother.
Good, man. Well, bro, it was a pleasure having you on here, bro. Much love and respect as well, bro. We're going to be working together, dude. And God bless the United States Marine Corps, bro, for bringing us together.
Right. Love you, bro.
Love you, bro.
Always a pleasure.
Amen, bro. All right, we'll cut out now. It's been a great podcast. If anyone has any questions, contact Roland direct on his Instagram. And if you can't find him on there, just personally DM me, and I'll get you in contact with him. Up until next time, guys, get up, get after it, and get some.
Bitch, don't get too comfortable. Better not get too comfortable. Better not get too comfortable, yeah.